It's Matt and Colby at
our undisclosed location. Welcome back, Goof Gang. We're back to Formula, the classics. No video, just audio. And this week, we've got a special guest star with us, Matt 2.
What's up, guys? It's Matt 2, aka Matt Wynn.
So, just to start us off, normally when we have guests, we let them talk a little, introduce themselves. If you want to say anything more, you can, and then give us a funny little story that happened this week or something that you thought was out of the ordinary.
Something that was out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Well, 2 days ago, did mushrooms.
Yep. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Tell us a bit about that.
So, I was with two other unnamed individuals, and we all did shrooms. Ate them about 2:30. Continued tripping till like 9:30 at night. So, majority of the day was just spent in a different dimension.
Yeah, I heard stories from Diego. Obviously, you know, everyone kept asking you about shamans.
I don't know why that was the word of the day, but we were just very preoccupied with finding our shaman.
Yeah, I walked up and I saw them in a loop on campus because I saw Diego driving and I was like, oh, shit, I gotta go, like, say what's up. He rolls down the window and all three of y'all just go, dude, we found the shaman over there. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh, they're tripping. And I was like, oh, gotcha. Okay. And then later on, I called him to see how y'all were doing. And he said, y'all spent 45 minutes standing outside looking at trees.
Oh, yeah. The trees were, like, the best part of the whole thing. Because, like, we went outside, and they just looked so awesome. And they were, like, moving. Like, the bark on the trees was moving up and down. Yeah. And it looked as if the trees were breathing.
Dude, I'm talking about... I like trees. Just picture them moving.
Oh, and we determined that the big tree over by the fire pit in the front yard has a butthole. There's a giant butthole on the side of the tree.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He determined this completely sober.
Dude, have you never just looked at trees?
I mean, I've looked at them, but I've never been like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, yeah.
Even when I'm sober, you know, trees are nice.
Yeah.
But when I'm on shrooms, I love them.
Sounds good.
Nature is probably the best place to go because there's nothing but trees.
Yeah.
I think there's a few other things out there. But...
like a cougar.
Yeah.
Or a jaguar.
Funny story. One time I was in Colorado on a Boy Scout trip, and we actually were hiking and we ran into like a mountain lion / cougar. Like, I don't know what it was exactly, but...
What did y'all do?
I mean, we were like 11, and we had no adult supervision, and we just like, holy shit, should we run? Well, like, it'll probably chase us if we run.
Yeah.
So we just like steadily start creeping past it, like never breaking eye contact, just trying to get the fuck out of there.
One time at a summer camp with the Boy Scouts, a bear wandered into our campsite. And our SPL, the guy in charge of everyone, instead of being like, hey guys, there's a bear, get out of here, we just see him like sprinting by and he's like, everyone out.
Oh my god.
Did y'all both do Boy Scouts?
I guess so.
I guess it's a Matt thing. I never did Boy Scouts. I always thought it was a bit too out there for me. So today in my class, there's a group chat for a bunch of the university classes that you're in. You always get a link like at the beginning of the semester. I was scrolling through it because I wanted to see if we had anything due before I walked in. And I see a bunch of people saying, dude, you better do it. If you don't do it today, we're going to be angry. And I'm thinking, what the hell did I miss? And I keep scrolling up because I have to find what he said. And he said, all right, so Valentine's Day is on Friday. I'm going to ask the teacher to be my Valentine in the middle of class. And it took him like 30 more minutes than he wanted to because he waited until we were doing poppers. But he raised his hand, and the room got, like, quiet because everyone was like, oh, it's happening. And the teacher kind of looks up, and the guy just starts like, yeah, so I was working on that problem, and there's one thing I just couldn't figure out. She goes, yeah, what is it? Can you be my Valentine? And she goes, oh, okay. Laughs it off, and he goes, so is that a yes or a no? The teacher responds, see me after class. How about that? And the whole class just kind of went, what the fuck?
That kid's getting an A.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. I turned to the dude sitting next to me. I was like, should we report this to the dean?
No, dude. Let that kid get his A.
Yeah. I wish. But she's not attractive person, to say the least.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
So, talking about classes, last week I walked into one of mine, and I show up about like 5 minutes late. I usually show up on time for this class, but something happened. And I go and I walk up to one of the open seats, and I try to sit down, but it doesn't go down, it's stuck up. And I'm like, oh no, and I see another open seat down the row, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I kind of scoot past some people, I get up to that seat, and I sit down. And it goes down, but it goes all the way down. Yeah.
Are you in a lecture hall on campus? I don't want to say the one.
Yeah.
Because, okay, yeah. I had that exact same lecture hall last semester, and I had like a row of 5 people I sat with. I would always find that seat and scoot 5 in, because it was the 4th one in the row. It was like kind of close to the edge.
Yeah.
And I'd make sure one person got it each day, because you literally have to do a wall sit in class.
Exactly.
Like, you're pushing up to stay up. The seat is touching the ground.
That's fucking
Dude, it was a bad experience. And the problem is, after I sat down in the first chair and it doesn't work, and after then moved to a second one, you can't move from a second chair to a third chair.
Just look like an idiot.
Yeah.
In this same lecture hall, I don't know what it is about this one place, but it was the day of the final for that class, and it was an in-class final because we had to write 3 essays in class in like a 2.5-hour time period. So everyone's sitting down there, and at the beginning we kind of hear just like hup, 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 and we're like, oh, someone just like sneezed or something, and everyone kind of waved it off because it was loud and everyone was congregating in. And then eventually, because we hadn't even heard this noise all throughout like the entire year, every class I'd been to. It comes to the final, everyone's in there, it quiets down, the blue books are passed out, everyone starts writing their essay, and then you just hear it again, like, hup, 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 hup. And then everyone's just kind of like, what the shit? And they all turn around, and the professor left for the final. He left his TAs to do it. And the TAs are kind of looking around like, what the fuck is that? And then for like a 2-minute span, we keep hearing that noise, like almost constant. There was a girl with Tourette's sitting in the back of the class who hadn't come to a single class all year, I'm assuming because of it. And, dude, people were getting heated at her.
oh, man.
Yeah, someone at the beginning didn't know what it was, and he was like, hey, shut up.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then we all look back, and we see the chick, and, like, you can just, like, hear a collective whisper. Oh, I felt so bad for the chick. Because everyone, I don't like talking about that. That's so bad. Because you could see she was like, oh, on her,
Oh, you know what time that is?
What time is it, Matt?
No clue.
It's movie review time.
Okay.
Alright.
So, for this week,
guest pick
Ma,
the movie.
will you please tell them what it is?
Alright, let's give a plot summary first, then you tell them the name of the movie.
Alright. So, movie opens up with just the most bizarre images possible. They're in some sort of temple, and the dude's like got these 2 naked chicks with him, and he's cutting their hair. This is the opening scene of the film. This is the first thing you see. So this is the first impression you get.
Just to clear something up quickly, this is not a porno, so...
Which is what we immediately thought whenever it happened.
Well, honestly, you'd have a hard time arguing against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty softcore, but it's doable. I've jerked off to less.
Wouldn't be my proudest, Fab.
But continue.
Yeah.
With
All
your...
right. So the whole thing follows this main character called the Alchemist, who is like this Jesus-like figure, and he's kind of going through this town until he gets to this temple/tower, and like all throughout the entire movie, there's every scene you can pause it and you can just dissect the entire screen. There's so much like symbolism.
It was extremely creative.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
Creative, to say the least. But, so it follows him as he enters this temple, and he meets, I'm not going to try and guess what this dude's name was, but
We'll just call him Mr.
just some weird, like, psychic guy that basically tells him, first they fight each other.
Yeah, and the guy uses the knife as a 2-handed weapon and not a 1-handed weapon.
So you got this Jesus Christ figure fighting this guy who's God, ? And after the God-like figure incapacitates Jesus, then he wakes him back up, removes a I guess, supposed to be his sin from his body.
Which was a blue octopus.
And so now that he's free of that, he's ready to begin his journey and start learning about all these other beings that live on the planet. And they're all named after a planet.
Roman gods.
Yeah, so like Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars.
Uranus.
And they all kind of parallel with their like Roman god counterpart. Yeah. And it just kind of starts breaking down one by one each of their jobs. And so like Mars, she
made toy weapons for kids and then made them learn to hate the enemy when the government predicted war. So 15 years in advance they predicted war with Peru and made the children grow up to hate Peruvians.
Yeah, they all had like super giant like production sites where they just made all these crazy things, and it all kind of like is supposed to be symbolic of one aspect of our society, but it's done in such like a weird, obscure way. And it just kind of goes through and breaks everyone down, and then they all come together, and the godlike figure basically tells them that they need to go to this holy mountain. And
an ocean mountain, to be exact.
Okay, so apparently, if a mountain is on an island in the middle of the ocean, it's an ocean mountain.
No. An island is automatically an ocean mountain. And then, I guess a mountain on top of that mountain would be a mountain squared.
So, if we're ground level, right? Is that an ocean mountain? Like,
No,
say I'm
right
standing...
now, we're on a continent. But if you go to Hawaii, you can stand any place, and it's an ocean mountain.
What's the difference between Hawaii and the U.S.? Landmass?
Yes.
So, okay, Mr. Ocean Mountain expert, what's the required minimal landmass?
You have to be a continent.
a continent. I mean, if you really think about it, continents are just really, really, really big islands.
But, so
they come together, and he tells them they need to go to this holy mountain because there's this group of people that are up there controlling the earth. And if they want to be immortal and be even more powerful than they already are, because they all run the earth. They all run society already.
They want to be immortalized.
So he convinces them that they need to go to this place, and that's when they start again doing all these rituals and like just really, really weird, creepy stuff. And then
Sucking milk from an old man's tit that turn into 2 jaguars and cover your face.
yeah, if you're listening to that makes absolutely no sense, but that's literally what happens. And there's like no other way for me to explain it to you than to just say, go watch the movie.
But try to find it on YouTube first if you can. We had to rent this movie.
Honestly, well, if you have access to a computer or a laptop, you can watch it legally.
Wrap it up right there.
They get to the mountain, and turns out to be one giant mind fuck. The godlike dude turns to the camera and says, "Zoom out the camera. We're actually not in reality right now. We need to escape from this. We're trapped in here. Let's go to the holy mountain and escape so we can go to the actual reality."
Yeah. So, how would you rate the movie?
Ooh, do you know our rating system?
No, enlighten me.
Alright, so I'd give the movie 1 pre-bitten pizza.
So what I'll say is, it was very creative. It was unique in its own sense.
Yeah, but it was fucking trash still.
And I will give it 2 alarm clocks.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the only reason why I'm doing that is because, yes, it had the creativity, but it was terrible.
We're just picking out items in the room right now.
Is there a pre-bitten pizza in the room?
That's what I'm looking for. But he said alarm clock, so I'm like, alright, I gotta
Whoa,
pick
there's
an
no
item.
alarm clocks in here. Pull away the camera. Alright, so what are you rating it?
On a scale out of 5, I'm gonna say...
Whoa, you
Who
can't
said
use
it's out of
numbers.
5? What?
Everyone interprets numbers in a different way. So you cannot say out of 5 because one person's 5 is another person's 10.
I'm gonna say 2 Rocket Pikachus.
I will say my biggest complaint with the movie is, my whole time watching it,
You were falling asleep?
I was falling asleep. But I was also extremely pissed off because I'm watching it and I'm like, whenever I put this into the episode...
No, it's gonna be a bitch to edit.
Well, yes, it's going to be terrible to edit. But also, I don't think I can really use any images from that movie. And if I do, none of them are going to make sense.
That's perfect. Here, we'll just trade off. Everyone say the weirdest thing they remember.
The robot vagina that they had to have sex with and then gave birth to another robot.
Sorry.
Same universe. They were going through like the art exhibit, and I just he was about damn near molesting like these people that were a part of the art exhibit. Like he would just go up and start like feeling on them and like touching them.
I think the best part for me was kind of close to the beginning when there's Aztec toads. It's an entire colony of Aztecs that are... No, these are the bearded dragon Aztecs,
Yes.
sorry. And then colonization
Spanish
happens,
toad, yeah.
and the Spanish toads come in. And
This is all in like a little diorama.
yeah, the Spanish toads come in, start fucking shit up. Apparently there's a lot of blood in bearded dragons and toads, a crazy volume.
And explosions.
And yes, at the very end, they blew up the lizards and toads.
Yes.
And then tourists start taking pictures with it.
But don't worry, no animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
One while, I don't know if you
We can't actually confirm that.
Yeah.
Time we talk about the movie, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, Goof Gang, I think it's time we end this podcast. Do you know how we close this out?
Let's see it.
Colby's gonna say his name, then you say your name, then I say my name, and then I will finish it.
Colby.
Matt.
Matt, with our powers combined, we are Goof Gang.
Yeah!